Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central. CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we got another Bomber video coming up as Jake Thomas has retired as a player from the CFL. Now, one thing that is notable about this is that he is now actually becoming the defensive line coach for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Darrell Patterson is retiring. So Jake Thomas, as much as he's retiring from being a player, still going to be involved heavily with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, though, as we want to kind of go through his career first. And so if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. We'd very much appreciate it. But Jake Thomas played his first season for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2012. He played 13 seasons. He played 2012 through 2025. Played for the Bombers his entire career. Never played for any other team. Over the course of his career, in 223 games played, he had 196 defensive tackles, 4 special teams tackles, 33 sacks, 1 interception, which he got in 2017, and 5 forced fumbles. Jake Thomas was a key aspect of the team's inner defensive line. He played predominantly D tackle, and then of course, so if they're running, say, a 34 base, he was playing nose guard. Jake Thomas was a locker room leader. We had done numerous player interviews with former Bomber defensive linemen. So we had done a player interview with Jamal Woods, with Celestion Haba, with Miles Fox. All 3 of them had attested to the fact that this guy was a voice in the locker room, that he was a locker room leader. I can't even remember which one of them it was. They had mentioned about like Jake Thomas had mentioned when they went to BMO about, hey guys, you guys got to keep an eye out on like the change between the grass and the turf in the end zone. Like there's some weird stuff going on there. You know what I mean? He would just make players aware of things. He was always always in his senses. You know what I mean? He was a very, very smart player. He wasn't a national. He's retiring now at 35 years old. He was born in Douglas, New Brunswick. Went to school at Acacia. 6'1", 280 pounds. He's a big boy. Really good defensive lineman. And over the course of his year, he was just a force for the Bombers. And he had done very well. Of course, 2-time Grey Cup champion, 2019 as well as 2021. And so he will be retiring as a player. And I'm very excited to see him in kind of the next aspect of his career, as I would not be surprised if this is a name that ends up in the Ring of Honor over at Princess Auto Stadium. Now, as a coach, he'll be replacing Darrell Patterson. Darrell Patterson had done very, very well. I'm excited to see. I'm happy to see him around. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see that he's going to be sticking around. What was kind of your take on Jake Thomas over the course of his career, from everything that you had seen?
I mean, you always knew about Willie Jefferson and Jake Thomas on that defensive line.
They always made sure to mention it on the broadcast. You know what I mean? That was always whenever they talked about key aspects of that defense. They were always
and
there.
The thing that's gonna suck is now that Thomas is gone, Jefferson. I'm gonna say this. You may not agree with this. Jefferson's not that far behind.
Oh no, I do agree with that. I don't think he retires this year.
And I mean,
I think if he was going to retire this year, he would have already done that by now.
No, I'm not saying he's going to retire this year.
I'd say Jefferson probably has 1 to 2 more years in him. That'd be my guess. Just being realistic.
Looking at what they have right now, the only one right now with CFL experience on that defensive line is Lawson. That's currently signed.
Yeah, okay. Because I was about to say, I imagine James Vaughters gets re-signed, and then of course, one notable guy that they lost, and this is one that kind of sucks for me. I was not happy that we lost Devin Adams to Saskatchewan. We released a video on him just a few days ago. You guys really supported that, over like 400 views. Thank you guys for all the continued support of all of our recent videos. We have been putting out videos like psychopaths. Like we're just releasing constantly, but you guys are constantly supporting it. So thank you guys so much. As even one of our videos from like a while ago, over like 1,500 views on like an O-line video. You guys have just been fantastic. So thank you guys once again. But yeah, no, the Bombers are going to need to exactly have it figured out, exactly what they're going to do with their D-line. Again, Lawson, the only one they have under contract. Vaughters, in my opinion, needs to be a priority. Adams, of course, is already gone. Willie Jefferson, realistically, has got 1 to 2 more years in him. If I'm the Bombers, try to sign him to a 2-year deal if you can. Just because even with him being a bit older, he's still elite. You know what I mean? So if you can get 2 years out of him instead of just 1, that'd be great. Ayers has always been a backup, so I'm not sure how that's going to roll out. A friend of mine I know who's on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers practice roster. I used to play hockey with him. I'm curious to see if Zachary Davis ever ends up as a backup on that D-line. He's been on the practice roster for a bit. He had played a bit in the preseason this year. I hope to see him do well. He's a good kid. And I'm curious to see what other talent the Bombers bring in for that D-line. I would hope to see at least somebody. Maybe an interior D lineman would be nice. You know what I mean? Kind of a higher profile one, if any of them are available. Like, I don't know if there's like a Brinkman or a Serezna or something like that available. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting there to necessarily be, but I think when it comes to free agency, the Bombers should look around and see what guys are available when it comes to those interior defensive linemen. Because that's where they'll need to make a move. Because I expect that the bookends of James Vaughters and Willie Jefferson are going to still be there. Do you know who's currently unsigned, Rick, for like interior D linemen?
I just have like a list of D linemen.
Okay, yeah, you can say that because then I'll be able to know which if they're interior.
Give me a second.
Try to see some of the bigger names there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just gonna send you a. Now, keep in mind there may be like 1 or 2 that I haven't updated to the list yet.
Are you sending me
this?
This
is going on your Discord.
Okay, so I see Hauser, Malik Carney, Bonner, Lanier. I'd be curious about Anthony Lanier.
I mean, Serezna's on there.
Serezna's on there.
I mean, he had a down year last year.
Curious to see if they keep the guy like Tanner Schmeckel. The Bombers decide to keep him. See Brian Cox Jr. on here. Baldonado, Micah Johnson. Oh, Micah Johnson would be so nice. Of course, Caleb Sanders you're going to have to take off there as we got another video.
I know. Like I said.
Yeah.
There's another person on there that I got to take off. Like I said, there's a few names I got to take off here and put back on their teams.
Marcus Christmas. There's a and then I also see the Cherries on there as well. You should got to take off. But there's a lot of guys available as of right now. Of course, not all these guys are going to make it to free agencies. A lot of these guys are going to get signed before then. But you know, if anything close to that list is going to be available, there's a lot that the Bombers can choose from. So I think us as Bomber fans are hoping to see the Bombers do more in free agency and pulling from other teams. Again, I don't think the Bombers should ever become reliant on that, as some other teams have. It hasn't always worked out. Building from within is always a very good thing to be able to do. Not for necessarily your entire roster, but at least for a good portion of it. This is where I think they could use pulling somebody from somewhere else to fill that spot. Is there anything else you got there, Rick, or is that pretty much all we got here?
No, that's pretty much all.
All right, well, before we wrap up the video, I just want to say congratulations to Jake Thomas on a very decorated CFL career as a defensive lineman, as a player. Best of luck to him as he transitioned into his role as a coach. Us in Winnipeg are very happy to see him stick around. He will always be welcome in our city. And so, yeah, just thank you, Jake Thomas. Thank you, as I would always say, Thomas the Tank Engine. So, without further ado, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you haven't, make sure you guys join our Discord. Link in the description below to our Discord. We discuss all things CFL, NHL, all sorts of sports stuff. So make sure you guys go there and keep the conversation going. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Peace, love, and positivity to all your wonderful people at home. And we will see you guys next time.